Welcome to the channel. If you haven't done so already, make sure to like and subscribe. I really appreciate that. I want to talk to you guys about Aston Martin, if that's the right way to say it. I'm not too sure, but anyway, this is pretty cool. The fact that Aston Martin is deciding to, I guess, send off the new Vantage with a bang. So I got one question for you. Is Aston Martin considered a supercar or is it a sports car? I think with all the specs, it should be considered a supercar, right? Because it's got ridiculous amount of power. So anyway, the all new Vantage, Aston Martin V12 Vantage, I think Vantage. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I'm probably not saying it right. I apologize. But they're sending this car out with a bang. And why am I talking about it? Because it's gonna be manual transmission. That is why we're talking about it, because a lot of car companies are, steadily moving away from manual transmission. The one that I can always count on is Toyota. Toyota and Honda has always been that staple. And I'm not going to not also put in a little bit of a Mazda there too, because Mazda is still making manual transmission cars. We've all known that transmission was on its way out in the United States for a really long time now. But the fact that these big companies, especially for a big brand like luxurious brand like Aston Martin, to have a V12 manual transmission, 690 horsepower, that is absolutely crazy amount of power. But anyway, let's go ahead and flip it over to the article. Okay, so Aston Martin V12 Vantage, Spied and Teased with a manual gearbox, debuts tomorrow. Technically, that is today. Well, actually, no, that was yesterday, the 11th, because they would be revealing it. So we're just changing gears, we're changing minds. See, look at that. I love this, because we as a car culture, just car communities, just people that love cars, we still prefer the old three pedals because it's way more fun. I mean, automatic has its purpose, but you cannot deny when you're driving yourself in manual transmission vehicles and rowing the gears yourself. It is absolutely thrilling. It feels good. I'm telling you, man, if you have not driven a manual transmission and you know how, I suggest you rent one and have yourself a jolly good time, because you will have a good time. I promise you. Okay. So when the V12 Vantage was introduced in 2022, Aston Martin called it a spectacular finale for an iconic bloodline, and the final time of 5.2-liter twin-turbo V12 will be fitted to the Vantage. However, shortly after the coupe was introduced, the company followed up with V12 Vantage Roadster. The V12 Vantage Coupe was limited to 333 units, and it can accelerate from 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. The V12 Roadster is even rare, as production was limited to 249 units. Now, when it comes to supercars, honestly, or just any of those high-end sports cars, they're really going after a certain people. Obviously, every car is designed for certain people. And, whether you're driving a Lamborghini or an Audi R8 or any of those luxurious, or a Ferrari, any of those big brands, they're specifically designed for certain people with wealth, obviously. So you're never going to find these like rare vehicles with a lot of miles. If anything, you're going to find them with like 1,000 miles, 1,200 miles, or 1,500 miles, because best believe most of these cars are just sitting in somebody's garage and they're not really enjoying the shit out of them like a regular person, me and you, who loves to drive cars, would beat the shit out of them, because that's what they're designed to do. Kind of like people that collect sneakers. For what? They're meant to be worn. If you don't wear them up, they start falling apart over time because of the material, whether it's foam or whatever the build quality is. But these cars, most of them, depending on how many units the automaker makes of them, they're just going to be sitting in somebody's garage and just collecting dust, because they're not going to be driven like they're supposed to. But I've also heard the reliability on Aston Martin, but you can say the same thing about like Lamborghini, Ferrari, and all those other cars. The reliability isn't all that great, McLaren included. I've seen a video where, you know, McLaren's poor build quality too, it still exists when it comes to supercars. But anyway, you guys let me know about this. The Aston Martin getting 3 pedals. I think it's an amazing. It's very, very amazing. And the fact that, like I said, some other companies are still providing us with manual transmission. I'm all here to celebrate manual transmission, and I hope that we can still get manual transmission 20 years from now. That is very doubtful, though, because the way that we're heading, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. But I do believe in Toyota, and Toyota is definitely paving the way, especially when it goes to their hybrid, their hydrogen fuel cell vehicles that they're making. That's also going to be manual transmission, which is just amazing. But anyway, I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.